you can see, I'm in the office. I got my new jacket on. You like it? It's got these little things on it. It's like, my pants are big. These pants used to be tight. I don't know. What does that all mean? I want to talk about peer pressure. So, and let me talk about it quick. Like, I don't want this to be too long. So, today is midweek. It's Tuesday. Midweek from the long run, which was Saturday. So it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And usually 2 weeks and at the midweek point. Oh, my nails. You say it's not good. It's not good. Usually by the midweek point, I do a moderately hard run and a moderate distance run of 8 miles during the day, and then the circuit training at night. So I'm going to do the circuit training tonight. But last week, I'm usually recovered by now. Last week at midweek, I wasn't recovered from that 17-mile run. But interestingly enough, the 3 weeks prior to last week, I was recovered enough after the 13-mile run, the 14-mile run, and the 15.5-mile run that when midweek came, I was able to do that hard run, in the circuit training. Not this time. So, or not last week. So I thought this week, since I've only ran 14 miles, even though it was a good 14 miles 2 days ago, I figured by today I'd be recovered and I can go for that long, moderate run. So I start off in the long, moderate run, and I wasn't recovered yet because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do 8 miles at the pace I wanted to do it at to constitute a really good workout. I just wasn't recovered. So let me I'm going to explain, I explained, the first mile, I try to go real hard, and then after that. So I want to talk about peer pressure and people making comments. Shouldn't be making no comments. Anyway, so I started hard to go up the hill. There's this long hill in the first mile. I want to do 8 miles. So I pushed it, going up the hill. And going up the hill, I felt like you're not going to make it today because you're not recovered yet. You're still tired. You're still tired from Saturday. So you probably need to back off the pace a little bit because you can't maintain this pace. Right as I was thinking I'm in the middle of the hill. Right as I was thinking of backing off that pace a little bit, there's this guy sitting on his porch across the street, and he says something, to me it sounded like sarcasm, but he said, "You're finally running fast, good for you." So I'm finally running fast. I think what he meant was he sees where I'm, I only run fast 2 or 3 days a week. I mean, pick up the pace. All the rest is recovery. It's jogging. It's recovery. So on the days that I run hard, I run fast. Like the weekend long run, I start off fast. And that midweek run, I start off fast. Everything else I do during the week constitutes recovery from those hard weeks. I have to recover, otherwise I'll burn out. But he was making a sarcastic comment. And I just waved, later for you. But since he said that, I couldn't slow back off that pace as I had planned to, because that would look, I don't know, it would look good. Why do I care how this out of shape old man sitting on the porch, why do I care that I look good when I'm running past him? Because he said that. So I couldn't slow down the minute he said, "I'm finally running fast." Now, so I picked the pace up. I had about a quarter of a mile to go to get up top of the hill. Maybe a half mile to go. because the hill, it goes up, then it levels, then it goes up again. So it's like two rises. Um, just as I was passing this guy sitting on his porch, there's this other runner across the street who was like zooming by. And you can identify, you see someone who's like a real runner. Like, I'm a runner, but it's based on a lot of different sets of criteria. That I call myself a runner, not a jogger, which is basically a state of mind, not necessarily speed. But this guy, I looked over at him. He weighed about 130 to 140 pounds, 5'9", and he was a runner. And he was just like, he was going up that hill like it wasn't anything. Right then, I felt pressure. Because I first saw him out of the corner of my eye. So I felt pressure to keep up with him. And so I picked up the pace and ran as hard as I could to keep up with him. Like, why? Why am I feeling this pressure to keep up with someone who's like that sort of runner, which I'm not? Some 30-something-year-old running probably at 6-minute pace or whatever he was doing. He was just going up the hill like nothing. He wasn't even breathing hard. And I'm dying. and so I keep up with him. But now I'm like going all out and I'm going up the hill. And it's on a day where I'm not even supposed to be running hard because I'm not recovered yet. And so it's just sapping me of energy. And then I get to the point, it goes up, level, then goes up. I get to the point about 200 meters to go. I just can't keep up. I knew it. I said, you need to back off this. Like, what are you trying to prove? Why are you trying to keep up with this person? And then I had to back off. And then he's just like, but I was mad at myself for backing off. And it's like, this is why I don't run with anybody else. Because in my old life, like, there's a video that I made that I posted on here too, a YouTube video. And in that video, it was right after I ran the 17-mile run, I tried to explain that I have a different body than I did back then. So when I say that when I was 20 years old, I ran 17 miles or 20 miles or 22, that wasn't this body. Irregardless of age, it wasn't this body. It was a body that was full of testosterone. It wasn't a body full of estrogen and very little bit of testosterone. This is not the body. So the long run I did, the long runs I'm doing now, this person has never done that before. I was a different person, okay? You change when you start HRT. I don't care what people say about, the controversy now about trans athletes. With regard to someone who considers themselves a transsexual, I need HRT. I need estrogen. I'm not myself without estrogen. I am not Sarah Simone without estrogen. So I need that along with the testosterone blocker. So just taking testosterone blocker and running does not make me who I am. The day I started estrogen was when I became who I wanted to be. Okay, when you have that combination, if your skin getting softer and you get boobs and things change, that's what makes me who I really want to be. When you're that way, you lose strength, and I've lost a lot of strength. So I'm not that runner that I used to be, irregardless of my age. So there was no way I was going to keep up with some young 30-year-old man full of estrogen zooming up the hill, almost like twice his age, and I'm me. That's that. And another thing is, when I was my old self, I was running a lot of runs at 6-minute per mile pace. I once did 19 miles at 5 minutes and 24-minute per mile pace, which is very fast when I was 19. I would dust some character like that off the road. Someone like that wouldn't even keep up with me. When I say I'm running hard now, when I say I was running hard when I was 20 or 30, I was doing 20 miles at 6 minute per mile pace or faster. That was running hard. Now when I'm running hard, like when I'm doing the 17 miles and the 15 and a half miles, or if I do 20 miles next weekend or 19 miles, I'm not running at 6 minute per mile pace. I'm probably running at 8 minute per mile pace or slower. But to me, who I am now, that's extremely hard. That's a hard workout. To the person I was then, that would be a jog. So it's a matter of perspective. Plus, the person I was then, when I was running at peak running, I wasn't just going out for like jogs, recovery runs during the week. And to really train and running, there's like 3 or 4 different phases. There's one that's called LSD. It's not what you think. It stands for long, slow distance, which is basically what I'm doing now. It's to build up the aerobic capacity. So when I started running 4 months ago, it's going on 4 months now. I had no thoughts that I wanted to compete like I would have when I was young. Wanted to sign up for races and be competitive. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to feel better about myself, and I wanted to get healthy, and I wanted to improve my aerobic capacity. I've done all that. I'm doing all that. I feel good about where I'm at right now. I feel really good about it. I mean, it's done so much for me. It's done a lot for me. I mean, if I didn't start the workout, and it's it's all coincidental, but if I didn't start this workout in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis, if I wasn't working out, if I was who I was last year, and I was drinking a lot, I'd be a basket case pretty much during this time. Because one thing that gave me so much energy was helping veterans, like seeing them every day and working with them, and I'm not doing that now. I can't see them. and if I had all this free time, and I'd be depressed as shit right now. And I would be drinking every single day. I guarantee you, I would be drinking alcohol every single day right now. Because I was getting to a point, even before I stopped, that I was drinking at least 4 days a week, and so I would be a mess right now if it wasn't for this running. So this has been good to me. But there's four. If I wanted to compete again, which I don't. Compete? If I wanted to see a guy like that running that fast and wanted to say, oh, I can keep up that good. I mean, there's 4 things you gotta do. I talked about the LSD. The next is called fartlek, Fartlek. It's a Swedish word which means speed play. And so what it is, if you're running across the countryside or whatever, then you look at different markers, in your mind, where you're going to speed up and run maybe at whatever your race pace is or quicker. And for that long period of time, you're going to be running all out. Then you're going to get back into the pace you're at. And the pace you're at should be 6 minutes per mile. So when you speed up, you're speeding up to like race pace, and you're doing that for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 miles. So all that speed play and then getting back to your regular pace and speed play, that starts to build your speed. Another is called interval training. Interval training really builds the speed because what all interval training is, a lot of times it's done on a track. And say you want to do 400-meter intervals. That means you run around the track one time, which is 400 meters, but you run at race pace or faster. You might, back when I was doing it, I would do the intervals in 60 seconds. Okay, that wasn't really race pace. I wasn't running, like if you wanted to run a 420 mile. No, if you wanted to run a 4-minute mile, that's race. So it was faster than race pace. 4-minute miles are 4 times around at 60 seconds, but I would run them at 60 seconds. So I was doing faster than race pace. So you do the interval, and then at the end of the interval, your heart is going to be pumping. And then you rest for 2 minutes. Then you do it again. Then you rest for 2 minutes. Then you do it again. Then you rest. And then as you get fitter, you shorten the time between rests. So you might do your interval if it's a 400-meter interval. It could be a half-mile interval. It could be 3/4 mile interval, whatever the interval is, you shorten the rest time before you go again at that same speed. And that sort of builds your VO2 max. It really makes you a lot stronger and faster of a runner. There's that. Then there's hill intervals. You do the same thing, but you do it up a hill. And then the rest time is longer because you got to run to jog to the bottom of the hill, then sprint back up, jog to the bottom. That builds strength. And the last is called tempo running. And tempo running, that is simply, you're really racing, you're really running faster than race pace. And so you're doing a tempo running right before you're probably going to run a major race. So there's those elements that I did when I was training that would make it so that I can go out and run 5:24 pace for 19 miles. I'm not doing any of that now. All I'm doing is LSD. And I'm building the aerobic threshold. That's what I'm doing now. So I'm not going to be able to run fast now. And I guess what I felt upset about today was, one, that guy had to say anything. But I really feel upset about me from reacting to that guy and seeing somebody who's like passed me, some fast runner, and even trying to keeping up with him, when after I decided that I wasn't sufficiently recovered, I really decided I was going to back off. But instead of backing off, I didn't. And that is because of peer pressure. And I don't feel good about that. And so after about 2 miles, I really did back off. And I just said, like, screw it. I'm not here to compete against anybody. I'm just going to back off. Because you're supposed to, when you do long distance running, you're in your own zone. You're not in someone else's zone. I remember when I was 17. I might have been 18. I was probably 17. It's probably right during cross-country season or before cross-country season of my senior year. And I was going for a run from home and had this 10-mile course marked off. And my goal was I wanted to do it at a pace of around between 58 minutes and 60 minutes. So that's faster than 6 minute per mile pace. I didn't want to do it any faster than 60 minutes, and I might be able to get it down to 55 minutes. So that's a nice, good. I mean, that wasn't a super tough workout, but that was going to be a good workout, and I was going to do 2 workouts that day. And so that was going to be a good workout for the first workout of your 2-a-days. And as I was starting, right, even into the first 200 meters, I was passing this guy, and this guy sped up. He's an old man, okay? Which means when you're 17, he was like 30. I don't know, he's like 34. But when you're 17, 30-year-olds are old people. You know what I'm saying? It's like the way you look at them. And right then, I'm like 5'9", 130 pounds. I'm in like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm racing fit. And this old man wants to run with me. And I felt like I was passive, and I didn't want to say, no, you can't run with me. But for about 200 meters to 400 meters, I just said, okay, fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't more aggressive, but he had slowed my pace down because I was going his pace. And he slowed it down to like 7 minute per mile pace. Like 7:30. Like, he got slow. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is spoiling my whole workout. And I said, well, I said something like, well, I'm sorry, sir. I'm just got to keep my own pace. Sorry. And then zoomed away, but I felt kind of bad. But when you're running, you're in your own thing. You shouldn't be bothering people about asking them, can you run with them? Runners are very individualistic, especially distance runners. We're doing our own thing out there. We're sort of in our own world. We're like, at one with nature. So we're in our own thing. And so I don't like when people bother me. Um, I don't want to run with anybody. I don't want to run with you. I'm in my own thing. This is me. This is my thing. I don't want to be part of your thing. I don't run in groups. I run by myself. So anyway, that's my little vent of letting that peer pressure get to me today. But I'm in the office. I'm finishing up some work here. Then when I get home, I'm going to do that circuit training. And I don't care what anybody says. Now, I'm not going to be too hard on my neighbors because, yeah, I mean, I didn't have to react to it. I could just like, just did my thing. But people in my neighborhood now, like, they're all like recognizing me, and that's a good thing, you know. That's not a bad thing, you know. Um, I think the guy thought he was encouraging, and there have been other people in my neighborhood that I'll run by, and some guy will say, "Run a couple miles for me," you know. But they're being nice. They're not, saying bad things to me. So I can't really take it that way. I mean, it's far different from the other neighborhood I was in, where I got literally chased out of that freaking neighborhood, where people wanted to kill me. Like my roommate, and the way he was talking, everybody in the neighborhood thought I was an embarrassment because I was a trans person in their neighborhood, and they didn't want me in their neighborhood. So this neighborhood I'm at now, is more comparable to a neighborhood I grew up in than anything else in terms of feeling free to just be myself. That's how I kind of feel in this neighborhood. So I'm not hard on my neighbors. Like they say something, oh, you're finally running fast now. So whatever. I don't have to react to it. I can just smile and say, yeah. That's my vent. 22-minute vent. Oh my god. I'm running, honey, and I'm feeling good.